Hello and welcome to another video in Foundations of Maternal and Newborn Health. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the uterine cycle. Uterine cycle. So the uterine cycle is really just the cycle of the endometrium. And we talk about the endometrium in the uterine anatomy video, and it's really just the inner lining of the uterus. So I've drawn it here in red. This is the endometrium. And it covers kind of the whole inner surface of the uterus. This is a cross-section of the uterus here. So again, the endometrium is the inner lining of the uterus. And so through the 28-day period of a woman's menstrual cycle, the uterus completely replaces the endometrial lining. So we'll start the cycle at day 0 to day 7. So we'll call day 0 to day 7 menstruation. So that's menstruation. And this would just be a woman's period. This is just when she would lose her endometrial lining. And this is usually takes between 1 to 7 days for her to completely lose her endometrial lining. Between day 7 and day 28, which is the approximate time period of a menstrual cycle, day 28, she'll start to rebuild her entire endometrial lining. So you can see here I've drawn it in this dark red, and after day 7 she has kind of no lining, and across that day 7 to day 28 she'll begin to rebuild that entire endometrial lining. So a special event occurs at around day 14. Day 14, and this is ovulation. Ovulation. Within the women's ovaries, which are drawn here as kind of coming off of the uterus, and we go over this in the uterine anatomy video, these are the woman's ovaries, or a single ovary. And inside the ovaries are her eggs. So I'll draw this here, kind of a blue circle. This is the egg, a single egg. And at the time of ovulation, around day 14, the woman will release the egg, one egg, into the fallopian tube, and it'll travel down the fallopian tube into the uterus. And it'll then embed itself into the endometrium. And so around day 14, a few days before and a few days after ovulation, is when the woman is most fertile. So this is kind of the ideal time of fertility, is in and around ovulation. So this would be most fertile. So she's the most likely, when we say fertile, she's the most likely to get pregnant if she has sex, unprotected sex, during this window of ovulation. So a few days before and a few days after she ovulates, she's most likely to get pregnant. And so the next question is whether or not this egg is actually fertilized. And of course, when we say fertilized is just when the sperm actually meets. So fertilized is when the sperm meets the egg. And so if she is fertilized, if the egg is fertilized by sperm, she goes on to be pregnant and actually conceive and have a baby. So this would be pregnancy. And if she doesn't become pregnant, if there's no fertilization, she goes back to menstruation again. So this is no fertilization. So if the egg never becomes fertilized, she'll go back to menstruating and rebuild that endometrial lining. And if the egg is fertilized, then it'll go on to pregnancy, and the egg will become fertilized and grow into a baby. And so this whole cycle of endometrial growing and then shedding is the uterine cycle. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about the ovarian cycle, which is the changes that happen inside the ovary at the same time as this uterine cycle.